Hello, I'm William Longfellow, and welcome to Let's Play Super Mario Kart Pro Edition. Today I'm racing the Special Cup with the Princess, and we begin with Donut Plains 3. A narrow and twisty track. No one turn is particularly tight here, but when the turns are put together it can be rather challenging. Now right there we have a choice between crossing the bridge or taking the wider part of the track on the right. Usually I prefer crossing the bridge because I can line myself up straight, so the fact that it's narrow isn't a problem. And once I'm on the bridge, all I need to do is make sure I jump over the little broken parts. There are 2 broken parts on the left and 2 on the right. If I space myself right, I only need to jump over 2 of them, or even none if I can swerve from the right side to the left side well enough. But usually I find it easier just to get myself going straight on the left or right side and only jump over the 2 broken parts. And here I like to jump over this little grassy area. It's narrow enough for me to stay on track here, and this part right here is actually a lot trickier than it looks, because you have that piece of grass that juts out into the middle of the track, and the track is covered with those black dots, and what those do is, if you try to turn normally, in other words without drifting, just pressing left or right, your kart will swerve, and that can make it difficult to stay on track and keep up your speed. So what I do is I like to come into this turn facing a little bit to the right and then readjust myself by hopping, and that way I don't swerve around and lose control, and I can avoid hitting any grass. And on the last lap I actually slowed down. I let go of the accelerator just a little bit to make sure that I was under control. I made a little mistake there. I hit the water actually. You usually need 2 jumps to cross the 2 broken parts of the bridge, either on the left or the right. And sometimes if I'm lazy I jump too late. But the best timing is to make the first jump a little bit earlier, so that you land in the middle of the 2 and then make the jump right after that. You don't want to jump too late, otherwise your kart will fall into the second water hole, or at least splash in it and lose a little bit of time. And here we have a Koopa Beach course. And I kind of like the design just looking at the map and the seaweed that's on the ground there. And right here is the most difficult part of the course, because you have to turn right and there's just that narrow part of sand. To the right of that narrow stretch is the wall, and to the left is the shallow water, and not too far to the left of that is the deep water. And what sometimes happens is I'll turn too tight and I'll hit the wall. Kind of like that, but I'll hit it in the wrong way and just stop for an instant, and then a computer will come rushing and bump me right into the deep water. It's a good way to lose a lot of time. So I'm trying to be very careful on that turn. Also right here, my temptation at least is to turn a little bit too tight, and sometimes I have a few adventures in the seaweed there. It's another good way to slow myself down. Right here is a good way to catch up, because you can turn to the right while taking that jump. And when you land in the shallow water, if you're turning right, you won't lose as much speed as normal. So right here, for instance, I keep up my speed on that island, and well, I failed to jump in the second stretch of shallow water, but I'm still ahead here. Now, when you turn during the first jump, it's important not to turn too tightly, otherwise you'll land to the little pool of water in the middle there, and Lakitu will have to fish you out and you'll lose quite a bit of time. If I fall into the deep water pool, usually I consider my attempt to win the course pretty much shot. I think I beat this course actually the first time I played it, but then I was using, I think, Bowser, and I'm a little bit better with the faster characters. I had a little bit of trouble when practicing that course with the princess, because a lot of the time I would hit that wall on the difficult part. And there was a bad start. I would think that after playing this game so much I would have the timing pretty much down, but I still mess it up quite a bit. And I think I placed that banana pretty well. Now we'll come across that spot in the next lap and I'll point it out. But it's a very good place to put banana peels and green shells I found that the computer almost always travels by that path and almost always hits somebody. Right there, my obstacle hit Bowser. Now, between these two holes in the middle groove is where I put my obstacles. And Koopa almost nudged me into the hole there. That's the difficulty with racing, even without being tiny. With racing on this track, is that last stretch right there. I found that if I race accurately, though, I don't usually have trouble with this course. It's one of the easier courses in the game. I'm already catching up here. For instance, I go faster on this jump than the computers do. Unfortunately, I avoided Mario there. And there we go, back up to first place. And let's hope I can race consistently enough to stay there. Avoid that fireball. And there we go, just stay straight here and execute the turn properly, and there we go. First place again. You can also take the right fork after the jump if there are a lot of computers there and you're worried about bumping into them, but I find it more natural to take the left fork, as the computers do themselves. And here we have Vanilla Lake 2. And when I was practicing, this course actually was the most difficult for me. I had kind of figured out Bowser Castle 3. I think that's objectively the hardest course in the game. But this one is very difficult. And I think part of the difficulty is that I'm using the princess here, who can't gather a very high speed, but also these ice blocks are all over the place, and I have difficulty gathering speed with any character here. Now, after some practice, I sort of came upon a strategy. In other words, paths I can take to avoid as many ice blocks as possible. And right here, I try to go between that little puddle of snow and the blocks on the left there. This is a course that I have to race quite accurately because messing up even just a little bit can completely stop me. And messing up just by traveling in the snow there even slows me down. Now with this mushroom I may be able to catch up to Bowser here. Across this area, there we go. And I actually hit Bowser with the green shell I laid there before. That's another difficulty with this track. I haven't found good places to put my obstacles to trip up the computers. And when I can't race well enough, that's usually what I rely on when I'm trying to catch up to them. And finally, Rainbow Road. You may have been looking forward to this course, and if you look on the map down there, you see the track actually represents the different cups, the mushroom and the flower and the star, and it's a rather complicated course with many forks, but what I like to do is I turn into the petals of the flower, and that requires jumping a few times. And with the princess, who's not too fast, I actually have to time the first jump pretty well, or the second jump pretty well rather, so as to not fall into the void. My jump has to reach far enough. Right here I have to jump over those two holes. But once you get the timing down, it's pretty easy. This is one of those courses where, kind of like the first Rainbow Road, if you can race consistently, it rewards you a lot. The Vanilla Lake courses don't reward you a lot, you just have to race consistently or you'll die. Rainbow Road courses, if you don't race consistently, you'll die, but if you do, then you can get way ahead of the computers like I am right now. And there we go. First place, drift into the hole right there. And that concludes the special cup of Super Mario Kart Pro Edition. For the next few videos, I'll be racing each cup with a shrunken character, and this is something I've been practicing quite a lot, so I hope to do well there. and I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.